Here we are.
Here we are.
Cool.
Yes, here we are. One more time. Welcome, everybody, to Marriage Misfits. I am Deb.
My name's Kenny.
And we're the Joneses.
And don't try and keep up with us. It's hard keeping up with ourselves.
Like dragging sometimes, huh?
Mom is in solitude. I remember that episode. That's funny.
Yeah, well, it still exists.
And it's
for survival for this mama, I need that closet, let me tell you.
Right on.
Yes.
So, hey, here's the deal. So, it's a little bit later than usual, but I just got done with the youth event. Our, student ministry is, our students are dying, just like your kids. If you have kids at home. Not literally dying, but they just missed the whole connection piece. So we did a whole social kind of social distancing bonfire kind of pizza thing. So just got back. So we thought, man, let's just jump on and let's get this thing started.
That's right. So
what are we going to talk about? We have a 4-week thing.
Yes, we're going to talk about 4 weeks of foreplay.
Yeah. We just thought, some of the stuff that we've been talking about, it's a little deep, a little, a lot of psychology and stuff like that. And we thought, man, we just need to have fun. And not only that, here's the deal. Ready?
We like to have fun.
We like to have fun. We have 5 kids to prove it. So we thought, man, let's have a little bit of fun. And let's just be honest. Like, we've kind of been tracking a little bit. This is Deborah and I's, one of our passions. We love, talking about marriages and families and stuff like that. I mean, we've devoted, not only the last 26 years of our marriage to family, to each other, but we also have spent the last 24 years, in ministry, family ministry, kids ministry, student ministry, all that kind of stuff, because we believe in it, we bleed it. And so, and this is just one of those, byproducts of just wanting to share some information. Again, we talk about that we've either overcome, we're still going through it, or we just suck at it and we're still failing, and we just need a platform to kind of just admit that.
Well, I just think that, like, in marriage, right, from where we begin, from where we continue to journey, we're always going to, like, fall, and we're always going to need other people alongside us to laugh at us. I can't talk tonight. Laugh with us in this journey called life and marriage, and just know that, like, it's okay that we don't always get it right. And 100%. That we can continue to move forward and move past that and actually become better in our marriage because we don't stop,
So we thought, okay, let's do something fun, because, and the other part of it is, we kind of like gauge, like, our conversational pieces to what people kind of tune into and don't tune into. And so one of the big ones is when we talk about, like, conflict, like, a lot of people tune into it. And so we'll talk about that more. But the other thing is, a lot of people when we talk about, like, sex, wow, it's like off the chart. So, so this is a subject that
I think a lot of people like sex, or they like to talk about sex, because I think that they want more sex, and they want more freedom in sex, especially in their marriage. They want their sexual relationship with their spouse to be super intimate and sweet and kinky and great and just wonderful, right? It's not just for the not
kinky.
married.
You had me at kinky.
It's not just for, like, the forbidden fruit people who aren't married yet, or, people who just do fun, Like, this is, when you get married, this is the time that you get to just have fun. And you get to, like, hey, right?
Nothing's stopping you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our time to, like, get kinky, and just to explore all aspects of how we can make love to each other, be intimate together, almost be bashful at certain times with each other. Sure. But it's all good.
And ready, to what degree is entirely left up to the married couple. And so,
for sure.
And so we're not saying that you guys all have to, like, go nuts and crazy and break out leather and whips and we don't do that.
We don't do that.
But, if that's you, then that's you. Like, more power to you. And so, but we're just saying, like, especially, I'm going to say this, ready? So some of our religious friends out there, those of you that, are with us in this whole, pursuit of Jesus, like, this is a taboo conversation. Like, we don't like talking about it. And those of you that have been around Deb and I know that we don't have a problem talking about it. We don't have a problem talking about it because we understand and know the importance of it.
Yes.
And when we don't get it right, or we're not in the pursuit of trying to make it special and important and a priority, like it gets in the way.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that lead to, divorce and, affairs and all that other kind of stuff. So we're just going to keep it real and honest, and we're just going to talk about foreplay. Not even sex. We're going to talk about foreplay.
But foreplay is leading up to,
We'll get there. We'll get there.
The real goodness.
Yeah. So tonight we wanted to talk, again, in the 4 weeks of foreplay. It's so funny. We were talking to Deb and it was like, well, we're not going to take 4 weeks to get through foreplay. Like, no. Like, just, every single week we're going to talk about, like, just something new, something different about foreplay. Like, what it is to get those juices flowing.
To lead up to that special time together. Yes.
And so tonight it's just going to be simple. We're going to start off simple and easy for some of us that kind of need to work into, this. Again, this may be a taboo kind of conversation or topic. People don't want to talk about it, but we believe that we have to talk about it. Like, if there's no other, and we're just going to talk about it on Facebook, live. Sorry, but we have to talk about it because it's important. We should be prioritizing it. And as couples, we should be talking about what foreplay we like and what we don't like and what we can experiment with and what we can't. And so, again, as a lot of these conversations that we've been having, it's surrounded by communication.
Yes.
You have to talk about it before you jump into it because you don't want to be offensive or cruel or hurtful or anything like that. Have a conversation. It's okay to go, man, I don't like when you do that, or this would be great to try. So
yes, but again, and I would say too, like when you first get married, you're alone most of the time, unless you already come in blended familyness and you've been married before and kids are already surrounding the situation. But if you're two single people getting married together, what you start with and what you end up with 5 years later, or maybe 10 years later, and you both come home from work, or one of you comes home from work, is a total different setup and how you set each other up to want to have sex.
Sure.
And to where the foreplay begins.
Correct.
Right? And so that's why we have to have an ongoing communication with each other of how we lead into feeling or wanting to have sex with each other and being intimate with one another. So it's an ongoing conversation because it's always evolving, because our lives and our children, as they grow and they come and they leave and they come back again, it changes. Correct. And so we need to be able to talk about that.
Yes. And so we're going to start the conversation. Hopefully you guys will jump in your comments. Again, this is Facebook. We're, those of you who don't know, we're in family ministry, so keep it PG. Or
DM us.
NC-17, or I don't know. I don't know what the rules and laws are on Facebook, whatever. Or DM us, man. Yeah. Talk to us, about what's good, what's not, what are you struggling with, and we're just gonna put it out there as best as we possibly can over the next 4 weeks. And so we thought we'd start simple, and go, hey, so what's like the kind of the first stage of foreplay in our lives, that get us, pointed in the right direction to
it's like a basset hound,
doing the dirty.
So we're in on you, baby.
Right. And so, like, one of the things that Deb and I do, and it's very evident. And again, those of you that have been around us, our kids would probably go like, our parents are gross, because we're overly affectionate.
Well, but we're still PG, we're not overly affectionate. We're like, oh my gosh.
Well, no, it's like yesterday. Yesterday, it was Mom's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there.
Happy Mother's Day, moms.
Belated. But yesterday, during, we were in the kitchen. Was it yesterday or the day before? It doesn't make a difference. And so, Deb came over and she looks at me, and she looks at me in a certain way. And so I put my hand around her waist and stuff like that. And then, gravity pull, you know what I'm saying? So my hands go down a little bit. And so then I just do this, I do this little pat thing, And so our kids are like, oh my gosh, I'm in the room.
But understand this. This is how funny our kids are, is that there is a counter space. So they can't see Kenny touching my body in any form or way at all.
Right.
I just look at Kenny's eyes a certain way, And because he's doing that, and then
There we
that
go.
is when they're like, ew.
And it's a mature you now. I mean, they know, they get it. They just want to kind of play into it, but they know because we model it in front of them that this. Well, we don't call it foreplay, around them, but this being intimate or connected,
setting each other up for what we want next.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the things that we wanted to talk about tonight. And again, as we lead into this conversation about foreplay is, like those little moments, you have before, you do the dirty, whatever, vernacular you use.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just go into it because we can drag on forever. Yes. Okay, so I would say, like, as a woman, I love it when Kenny, when he looks at me in my clothes, and he's like, wow, you look hot, and I'm like, oh, tell me more, it's like, I love it when Kenny, like, he just esteems how I look, even when I have, like, no makeup on, my hair looks just tore up, I'm in just, like, my yoga pants or sweatpants or whatnot, and he just like, wow, I love how you look in the morning, and I'm just like, and I feel like look pretty horrid, not even looking in the mirror yet, and it gets me excited to actually want to be with Kenny.
Yeah, because again, we all want to think that, and be reminded, I wouldn't say think, be reminded that we still look good to each other. And you do. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, I'm just saying. So
I'll take your word for it.
If you feel it, then say it, And so I think that's one of the first things is like, that verbal kind of communication, like, dang, I know what I'm going to do to you tonight. You know what I'm saying? Or how each other looks and like complimenting each other.
Yes. So when Kenny is outside, like the day before Mother's Day, he's outside, doing some work, trying to appease my little heart, for our deck. And,
honeydew list.
And we're in honeydew list. So I was like, oh, please, And, he comes in, he has sweat rolling down his bald head and all like flush, looking all like tan. And I was like, you look hot. You look good, And he's like, oh. Do you realize you did that?
I didn't realize
his posture was like, he's like, oh.
Well, I felt like I had just accomplished something, so maybe that was it.
You accomplished two things, right?
True.
What you're doing for me, and you're like, okay.
But again, using those words to kind of like set the stage, I think, if we can think of it like that, it's setting a stage, it's pointing, us into that direction, I think it's super important to communicate. Like, say, verbal cues are always important. Like, say what you want, ask for what you need, stuff like that. So, and again, if you feel it and it's, if it's true, don't, like, here's the deal, ready? Don't BS. That's, don't be manipulative and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, be real, be sincere, be honest, be truthful, and so for me, it's like, when, there are certain things that I love to see Deb in, and I tell her, and she knows it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when she wears that stuff, I'm like, oh, okay.
Or I take things off at a certain time, right? I'm like, just saying, okay. Right? That is like a ding ding signal of like either come on right now, time is ready, time for the picking, or it's this is what's to come.
Yeah.
I would say then the other thing that as a woman, that when I ask Kenny to come sit with me on the couch, and when I ask him to hold my hand or just give me a hug, when I get those just intimate pauses with Kenny and sitting with Kenny, like that is, I think, one of the first steps of foreplay for me as well, because it shows his tenderness to me. It's not just, the act that is like, that's what we got to get to. That's what we got to conquer. It's like,
guys,
no.
This is free. This is free. I'm telling you.
It's like, I want the conquering starts there. It's his words and what he says to me, reminds me how beautiful I am, that he sees me and that he wants me. But then it's that I just want to be next to you, babe. And I just want to hang out with you. I just want to touch your hand because, man, that's just soft and it's just connectedness. I just want to put my arm around you, or I just want to lay my head in your lap and just be, I just love that.
Yeah. And, and again, ready? So, like most guys or whatever, I have my chair in the living room that I like to sit in and all by myself because I can see the TV. It's next to the plug, for phone and laptop. And, yeah, all these things are true. It's okay.
His man chair,
whatever.
for sure.
It's my man chair.
He doesn't have a man space, so it's his man chair.
And so, when Deb goes, hey, come sit with me on the couch, it's like, oh. You know what I'm saying? So
well, sometimes it's like, oh.
Well, again,
Let's be honest,
working, or you know what I'm saying? I'm
right.
comfortable, but again, like it's social cues or verbal cues, I should say, that we need to pick up on and go, oh, okay, I think I do it more times than not these days, but again, it always works
for sure
in my benefit if I'm honest.
It does. It does.
And so again, ready? So not only verbally do we get this ball, rolling. It's the caressing, physical touch, and not the, again, not the sexual stuff, but the tenderness.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And
so, going over there and sitting next to you or laying next to you on the couch and stuff like that. And here's the deal, ready? If, I don't know, guys, I don't think it's gender based, but, I'm that kind of person that, you know what I'm saying? Like, once I get that social cue, I'm already ahead of the game. It's like, I'm done. I'm done. It's like, okay.
He's getting a home run.
I already know. Like, I go from, 1 to 60 automatically.
I don't do that. I'm not that quick. I'm not a sprinter.
It's like, yeah. Deb's kind of like slow churn, primer it, prime it or whatever. Get it, me, I'm like rocket fuel. It's on and cracking. I just have to go pause and like kind of slow down a little bit. And I was going to say, wait for takeoff, But anyways, I know we're going to teach you. But that's one thing too. Yes. I think do you have anything else? I think those are two really good things.
Well, those are my like two like really good things and again, when we sit on the couch, when we hug and we hold hands and just talk, like especially now, I mean, our kids watch, right? Yeah. And it's like really important. They don't need to know when we have sex.
No.
That's just not, do our best not, right?
They may hear it.
Unfortunately, sometimes, or walk in, unfortunately, sometimes, right? But it's not, like, that's not what we're trying to get to. Yeah. They need to see that we love each other, that we're endearing to each other, and that we want to be endeared to one another. And the best way for us to do that, to show them, hey, that you may have heard that argument over there. You may have heard us, like, bicker or just not be on the same page about something. But guess what? We're together. And we are kind, we're tender to one another, and we're solid. And for our children to see us lead in that example of just being yummy in that kind of just tender kind of way, I think it's just really important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think like Deb kind of mentioned earlier, we set the tone. Like emotionally, when we are, in that kind of scenario, we set the tone emotionally, physically for ourselves, but the people that are in our home and our onlookers too. Yeah. I think that when we're intimate or, we're, in the stage of foreplay, whatever that looks like, we're being more connected, softer, tender towards each other. And then our kids, their anxiety, maybe depression, like all that stuff, like it just, it goes down. And so understand that not only are you, tying up things, here, like emotionally and physically and spiritually and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it's for the people that are around you too. So again, we do set the tone for our family.
I could even say too, which is super sweet, is that sometimes like even we're hugging on the couch, one or two or all of them start piling on top of us. Like they think it's a love fest. They're like, we're in on this too, you know? They're like, me too, please. No. But I think that's still super sweet.
It's sweet.
Right? It is very endearing for like us to have this like moment and time together. But even our kids as they jump in, and it makes it like that we're showing them even that we're still approachable.
Yes.
In any direction with them, and that this is a part of love. Love is inviting, and love is, just being still with each other, and that's just really important.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, how many do you got on your finger? I had like 2.
1. I don't know, but for me, it's, it's those times where, again, I can be totally in a different space, headspace, stuff like that, and you'll walk in and you'll give me those eyes, and you're like, oh, you know what you do, and then you get in close and it's hug, and I think that's super cool because A, I'm not expecting it, but B, it's nice to be that just click, that physical, just really quick touch, and well, which leads to my hands roving all over your body. Kids are not, kids in, whatever. I don't care anymore. But, and so we get to do that. So, I mean, again, it's a transaction, not a transaction. That's not the
No,
right
but
word.
I think for me that I know that's Kenny's love language. I know that I can tell when he's feeling stressed about life or work or whatever is going on, that he needs to pause, and he doesn't know how to take himself out of the situation to pause. And so I will actually, I look at him and I give him that space to do that, and he follows me every time.
Whoa, come on.
It's not hard to.
When you press your body against mine and you want to hug, I'm like,
I do give him the eye. I definitely, my eyes lock in a certain way, and I give him that look, and it does. He gets soft in his face again. He's able to really reset himself for what after we break away from each other to go back into, and he's at a different posture because I did that. Even I can tell.
Yeah. Is there anything else? I don't have much.
You tell me. Well, I don't know. You tell them. I don't know. What else?
I would say the next stage is probably, for me, is one of the, maybe more significant. Like, this is all cool and touch and tenderness and stuff like that, and sitting on the couch and, words especially. Like, that's all cool. Like, again, it's like first stage, introductory, this is for beginners. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get you into that space or that direction of going, to the angle. Everyone knows what the end goal is. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's
yes, Rocket Man.
I would say I would say that the next stage, like kissing, and we'll talk about kissing next week. Why don't we just focus on kissing next week?
Yeah.
Whole different story for me. Like sets me up. There's no turning back.
Next week.
We'll talk about that next week. So
he has to hold his tongue because
I know.
Yeah.
Because I'll talk more next week, but know this, and let's recap, and we'll sign off, and but again, guys, and that's good information. I'm telling you, to be tender,
yes, to
verbalize, like those verbal kind of instigation, like stirring the pot.
And emotional petting, right?
Ooh,
is really important. Emotional petting. Wow. Hey, it's like even when you're out and with other people. Well, obviously not right now, but before, I know if I can esteem Kenny in front of people, it always lifts him up. And he's on our way home. He has a different countenance to me. There's just a different sweetness that occurs between us, and he doesn't always get it because I'm just saying, for my guy, he's a guy and he doesn't always pick up on what I'm doing and why I do what I do, and then I do it for that. But I think it's important to feed our person, right? And to emotionally pet them in front of people and to esteem them. And it doesn't just say just in our home, I'm going to be petting you down. It's in front of people. I want to esteem you. I want to show.
We just got a new puppy, so maybe that's why the petting is coming in. I'm like.
You like that though.
We'll get to the physical petting week 3, but
you like petting. But anyways, it's important though, to affirm each other in front of other people. It's really important to give words of affirmation and to tell our spouse, man, everywhere we are, at home, just with each other, in front of our kids, out in the public and the world, that everyone needs to know that, man, I see you and I value what you're doing and what you give. Yeah.
And again, ready? It's from sincerity. It's not manipulative.
Correct.
It's, it's whatever you do at home, you're doing it out there and not just for people to see it, and you're not doing it at your home. Yeah. So make sure that, it's just real. Just be real and honest. And if you don't have this, if this isn't a part of your, skill set or, in your tool basket. I don't know. I try to think of some kind of pet work, your doggy bag. I don't know. If it's not there, then add it. You know what I'm saying? Like, start communicating, start acknowledging, start affirming, start, all that stuff, sit next to each other, on the couch or in a chair, in my chair. Sometimes Debs just comes over and she just sits on top of me in a chair. Start implement that stuff. So it's so much sweeter and smoother and nicer when there's, it's kind of like an adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on this journey.
The sexual adventure is pretty great, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that the more intentionality that we can give towards it and understand, like, there's certain times in our day, we've talked about, pausing with our kids and pausing and really absorbing, spending time with each other and not overseeing situations that we could just pass by, and sex is the same thing, being intimate with our spouse, because it's not just sex, that we're on this love-making adventure with each other. And it just is, man.
Yeah.
It's like a great cuisine, you got to add different
now we're
flavors,
talking about food again.
I know, I watch a lot of food shows too. But I'm just saying, like, it just makes it more flavorful with each other when we can just add all of these things and really pause and take moments and time to really lean into the things that we know that can set our partner up for us to win together. So
I would say this, ladies, if there's something that us, guys, your guy is not doing, talk about it. Ask them, guys, vice versa, if there's something, like, again, in these beginning first stage, setting it up, I'm saying, setting the tone, I'm not talking about, the physicalness stuff, but just, the communication part, the tender part, sitting on the couch. Like, if that's something that you don't do and you was like, man, I wish, say it, ask for it. Hey,
I have a question before we end, because we're going to be ending here soon. How was it for you at the beginning of our marriage when I would tell you, hey, let's just sit on the couch together?
Well, it sucked. I mean, I didn't want to sit on the couch. These are something that we have to learn. I think that's what you're getting at. These are things sometimes that we have to learn. We don't come equipped because, again, ready? The hardest thing that we sometimes have a problem, admitting to is that, the grown-ups when we were younger did not model relationships well, did not model marriage well for us. And we have to come to an understanding that we're not trashing our parents or whoever raised you. We're not trashing them, but we're just acknowledging and we're just, creating that awareness that, it wasn't modeled well. And there are some things that I'm lacking. And so for us, a part of the 26 years that we've been married, is it 26 years?
It will be in August.
In August, the 26 years we've been married, that we've had to learn some of this stuff. And we're still learning some of this stuff to implement into our marriage to make it as sweet as it possibly can. And so for me at the beginning, when Deb would say, hey, come sit next to me, I'd be like, for what? Oh,
yeah, he would.
Why don't we just go to the bedroom, Yeah.
And so he didn't understand that concept at all. No. He's like, touch your hand?
Why? But today it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because it's just not about me. It's about us.
Yeah.
And so it's about dying. It's about serving. It's about just being connected to each other. And sometimes we don't know it. We don't get it. We don't understand it. It's never been modeled to us. And we have to learn it. And this is ready. Again, some of this like beginning, early stage stuff, this may be, you diving into the deep end. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not a part of your skill set. Try it. I guarantee you that it's fulfilling. It's fun. It adds to the adventure.
It does.
So.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
4 weeks of foreplay.
4 weeks of foreplay.
So week 1 is gone, as right now.
Right on.
And so next week we hope that you tune in and that you adventure the next 3 weeks with us with foreplay.
And again, ready? I'm going to say this too. All my Christian friends, we're going to keep it real. You already know. We're going to keep it real. It's not taboo. Everyone is doing it. So... It's
we want everybody to be doing it.
It's okay, especially as long as you're married. Yeah. Do it. But it's okay. So give us a little bit of grace, and we're going to keep it real, and we're just going to talk from what we've learned, what we're still struggling with, and what we do, and what our experiences are. So next week we're going to talk about kissing.
Yeah.
Hope you guys tune in next week. Next Monday we'll be back with 4 weeks of foreplay, week 2, and we'll be talking about kissing.
Yes.
Can I get a kiss?
Have a great week.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Good night.